Stop motion animation describes the process of making a sequence of pictures played in order and a speed of which creates the illusion of movement. Now, this is generally achieved by making many photos of one object. So when you string them together, almost like a flip book, it is perceived, or it kind of looks like animation. Now, there are different kinds of animations in which you can make. One is paper cutout, object animation, claymation or the use of robots, sand animation, hand-drawn animation, pixelation, which uses people. To begin the process of designing your short, you need to know what kind of character or characters you're going to be using. When you start designing your short on what the goal is for your character or characters, take a couple of these things into consideration when you're designing your character or characters. The next process is creating a storyboard. Now, storyboards are an organized way of plotting out your story. A lot of times when we start off with animations without a storyboard, the animations can get really long, and by the time you realize you're not even there, you're about 400 slides in. And honestly, the best way to do this is, create a storyboard, maybe about 6 to maybe 8 slides long, have a goal in mind, and when you create your animations, spend about 15 to 20 frames per second, just slides, before you get to the next one. This is an example of a storyboard. Now, as you can tell, they're thumbnail sketches, not a lot of detail, but it gives enough that we can tell what's going on. Also, there are short little write-ups underneath to kind of help the story go along. When you're ready, you need to figure out what kind of set design you're going to be doing. Are you going to be doing one that's going to be looking straight at it, or are you going to be kind of looking from above, like a bird's eye view, looking down? When you're designing, you will need to worry about, as I said before, which way are you looking at? Because if you're looking straight on, you'll need to worry about the back and the bottom as well, and how that translates through the image of the camera. The use of props are very open depending on which one you use, so anything goes with this. Now, your materials, you can use any kind of materials, but some things that you might want to take in consideration is how well can you move some of these materials that you're going to use, or objects. Can you manipulate them? Can they move on their own? For paper, can you draw a whole series of things? So for example, if you were going to have someone look like they're walking, you might draw someone with their legs kind of spread apart and maybe legs closed, so you can actually flip back and forth so it looks like the actual character is walking. Or possibly if you wanted someone to look like they're waving, you could draw a person with no arm, but draw the arms separately and then raise it up and down. How you go about holding your iPad is also a material that you'll need to take into consideration. When you're ready, before you start, before you even get all your supplies, play around with the app. See what you can do first. See what would make sense for you to use. Then when you are confident of using either app that you decide to go with, then decide what is your storyboard going to look like, what are your characters, what materials, and then go ahead and start.